Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Garage Talks. I hope you guys have had a fabulous week so far. It's Thursday night football, so we got to get into our football talks. We're going to break down last week's week 3. We're going to get into our predictions for week 4. And we'll end the show on the highest note that everybody looks for, our 5 locks of the week. So here we go, and we'll begin with the week 3 recap in the NFL. Alright, so we'll begin the recap with the Thursday night football that was between Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. The Texans continue to show the disgruntled franchise there are with no plans of, being good in the future. The only bright spot is Brandon Cooks for this team, so for all you fantasy lovers, keep Brandon Cooks and drop everybody else. All right, and continuing that theme, the biggest news out of this game was Christian McCaffrey being injured and partially being out for a few weeks. It's unfortunate. He reminds me of a few running backs like Arian Foster that were never healthy enough to perform, but they always had the greatest skill set. So we're hoping that this is not the end for McCaffrey. He's one of the bright young players in the game. Next game we'll look at is the Buffalo Bills, who routed the Washington football team. Washington continues to have those struggles with their quarterback, with Heineke coming in and trying to ride the ship correctly while Fitzpatrick is out with his injury, and we see Josh Allen continuing towards the MVP race and being a bright spot for Buffalo as they, lost to Pittsburgh Steelers in a very weird fashion. This game saw a lot of touches for Moss and Singletary, while Stephon Diggs was surprisingly quiet, and all the other receiving corps had a big day. The next game we'll look on to is Cleveland and Chicago. Chicago's just a bad team. Unfortunately, there's nothing Justin Fields could do about it. I think it's time they get a coaching change. Cleveland continues to thrive. Kareem Hunt showed up in a big way with 6 receptions for 74, 10 on the ground for 81 and a touchdown. Baker had 246, no interception, so that's definitely a good. Even though his quarterback rating was 40, which is really bad, he overall did not have a bad game. And the craziest game of the week was Ravens versus Detroit Lions. Both teams were not able to score, not move the ball. The officials actually missed a call on the final drive where Lamar Jackson snapped the ball after the play clock hit 0, and they got away. And then Justin Tucker hit, arguably the greatest game winner and the greatest field goal in NFL history, a 66-yard field goal to give them victory, putting Baltimore at 2-1, and the Lions stay winless. Alright, the rest of the games that we're going to speak about, we're going to kind of go through it quickly. Colts lost to the Titans. Carson Wentz goes 0-3. But the biggest news out of this game was A.J. Brown and Julio Jones did not play. A.J. got injured in the first quarter. Julio missed the entire fourth quarter. And they're both on pace to miss week 4, which could have big fantasy implications. Game of the week, Chargers and Chiefs. Chargers rally back to beat Kansas City. Mahomes struggles with 2 interceptions. And Mike Williams explodes for 2 touchdowns, while Cheetah has been kept in check for majority of the week. The past 2 weeks, he only had 56 yards this week. So I think going forward, Chiefs are an interesting team to watch as they are 1-2, and AFC West is looking like the best division. Saints beat the Patriots again. The rookie quarterbacks are struggling this season. Mac Jones also threw 3 interceptions. So Saints continue to win. The Falcons finally get their first victory. Giants remain winless. Daniel Jones is looking good over time. Saquon is still not the Saquon Barkley, as we all would say. And it seems like the Falcons are finding a way to, get a few victories towards the end of Matt Ryan's career. Kyle Pitts is still not the guy yet, but I do think over time his and Matt Ryan's chemistry is going to develop. The next game we're going to talk about is Pittsburgh and Bengals. Cincinnati's looking flawless over time. They're 2-1. Joe Burrow's looking healthy after that injury scar that he had last year. Jamar Chase is showing that college chemistry with him. Joe Mixon's looking healthy. He rushed for 90. And I would definitely say for Pittsburgh, Najee Harris had 102 receiving yards with 14 receptions. So I would definitely say that Najee Harris going forward is looking like the workhorse he's going to be getting. Is going to be a lot, as Big Ben is looking extremely old. And it looks like all those injuries are piling up on him. Cardinals rout Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is not having that college success. Meanwhile, Kyle Murray looks like a MVP candidate, and he's definitely spreading the ball. On a side note, I think D-Hop is going to miss the game in Week 4, as he did come hobbling on one of the plays. Broncos are surprisingly 3-0. Their first 3-0 start since 2016 when Peyton Manning was with them. Bridgewater is looking like a great game manager. This team reminds me of the New York Jets with Mark Sanchez, with the defense doing their job and the offense are, putting up a few points, being great game managers, running the ball. Raiders are 3-0. That's a surprising game. They beat the Miami Dolphins 28-31. Tua Tagovailoa is still out for, at least 3 weeks. So Jacoby Brissett is being the manager there. But Derek Carr is seeming like he's stepping up. He's using all his teammates, the running game. Darren Waller, is definitely the guy on this offense, but they're spreading the ball, so that's a good thing. And I think Raiders might just have something. AFC West could possibly be one of the best divisions in football this year. So beginning, we'll go with the Tampa Bay and the Rams. These are the evening games from Week 3. Tom Brady threw for 430 yards, but it was Matthew Stafford and the Rams that got the victory. Stafford is looking more comfortable in Sean McVay's system. He's using all his weapons. They even got Deshaun Jackson this week, who went off for over 100 yards. And I believe his touchdown that he caught was a 75-yard. So if they can get him back, the Rams might be looking like the best team in the NFL, as they were a few years ago. The Vikings. And here we go with Week 4, starting with your Thursday Night Football. Jaguars versus Bengals. I am going with the Bengals to cover 7.5. Next, we have Falcons in Washington. I will take Washington -1.5. Texans play the Bills. I will take Texans plus 16.5. Lions play the Bears. I am taking Lions +3. Panthers and Cowboys. I would take the over. I wouldn't bet the spread. Whatever's the over, I'd go and take that. Colts and Dolphins. I am taking Colts +2. Browns and Vikings. This is a tough game. I would take the unders. I think this might be one of those defensive games. Giants and the Saints. I am taking the overs. Titans and the Jets. Got to take Titans -7. Chiefs and Eagles. I think Mahomes is going to put on a show, so I'd take the overs. Cardinals Rams, the game of the week. Definitely taking overs for this game. And I would also take Rams money line. 49ers and Seahawks. I'm taking Seahawks to upset this week. The 49ers. Ravens, Broncos. I'm taking the Broncos -1. Steelers, Packers. Got to take Packers. And the Sunday night game, Buccaneers, Patriots. I am taking Buccaneers -7. Monday Night Football, we got Raiders, Chargers. I am taking overs. And my lock of the week for this week are Raiders and Chargers. I would take the overs. So the overs is a lock of the week. Buccaneers, lock of the week. Chiefs are lock of the week. Titans, lock of the week. Colts, lock of the week. And the Buffalo Bills are my lock of the week for week 4.